brick stash. Quilter flying, colors splash. Pins and patches, stories grow. Stitching secrets we all know. Patchwork of laughter sewn in time. A spool of joy on every line. We chat, we sew, we laugh, we thrive. Stephen and Walter, our life. Sewing tales with every square. Buttons falling everywhere. A crooked seam, but who will care? Iron presses lined so neat. Friendships quilt can't be beat. Patchwork of laughter sewn in time. A spool of joy on every line. We chat, we sew, we laugh, we thrive. Stephen and Walter, our life. Sewing tales with every square. Buttons falling everywhere. A crooked seam, but who will care? Iron presses lined so neat. Friendships quilt can't be beat. Patchwork of laughter sewn in time. A spool of joy on every line. We chat, we sew, we laugh, we thrive. Stephen and Walter, our life. Our life. Stitch by stitch they weave the tale. A patchwork life where laughs prevail. Patterns clash, but who can tell? Quilted chaos suits us well. Stephen and Walter live on air. Threading humor, they don't care. Teaching, chatting, pulling strings. Life's a quilt of funny things. Pins and needles, jokes abound. Sewing secrets they have found. Fabric flying all around. It's a show where joy is bound. Stephen and Walter live on air. Threading humor, they don't care. Teaching, chatting, pulling strings. Life's a quilt of funny things. Pins and needles, jokes abound. Sewing secrets they have found. Fabric flying all around. It's a show where joy is bound. Stephen and Walter live on air. Threading humor, they don't care. Teaching, chatting, pulling strings. Life's a quilt of funny things. Pins and needles, jokes abound. Sewing secrets they have found. Fabric flying all around. It's a show where joy is bound. Pins and needles, jokes abound. Sewing secrets they have found. Fabric flying all around.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
And I hope all the technology is working properly, because it's been a couple of weeks since I had to use this technology. And you know, I have a short memory. for things. So we'll just check here. I'm checking on my monitor to make sure you can hear us. And it should kick in. Yep, it's working.
And
okay. That is good to know. All right. Well, hello, everybody. Yes, we have... You're not in the picture. Oh, there. That's better. We are back from Japan, as you can tell. And we're going to talk all about our trip. At least you saw, if you watch the videos, because I put one up every day pretty much. You saw what we saw. And you heard our comments about that throughout too. But now that we've done the whole event, the whole thing's over with, we're going to kind of what we liked, what we didn't like too much, and or whatever, and sort of dissect it. That's the word I want. But let's see who has joined us. Well, number one is Nina. Nina is here. And on her heels is Caroline. She says, so happy you're home, safe, and you had a good trip. Happy Sunday, everyone. And Faith is here as well. And Diana Miller is here. She says, welcome back. You've survived jet lag. Not completely. More about that in a bit. And she says, we appreciate the sharing while you were traveling. Well, I'm glad you did. Lots of people have said that they really enjoyed the videos, and some people said they were living vicariously through us on our trip. And, well, we were happy to do it.
We were very busy when we were there.
Yeah, we were very busy. I mean, getting those videos up, I was actually editing the videos, well, as much editing as I do, but I did it all from my iPhone. And we'd be sitting in a restaurant or something, and I had a few moments, so I was compiling videos to get that all together, but that worked out okay. Inez is here. Hello, Inez. And Susan. She says she's enjoyed watching our escapades. Looking forward to your thoughts on Japan. Sending best wishes from the UK. And Dubravka and Al are here. Glad both of you are home safe. Thank you for taking the time to share your videos. We enjoyed them very much. Well, we're happy you enjoyed them. Charlotte is here too. And Karen as well. Judy is here from Georgia. And she says, and the other Judy is here as well. So we have our two Judys. Welcome back. Looking forward to hearing more about your Japan trip. And John is here from Art East. Hi, John. And Arta Burns as well from San Diego. And Pauline is here. Great to have you both back. Thank you for sharing Japan with us. Well, you're welcome. Jen is here as well. And everything popped up at the top. Gloria is here. Barb is here. Karen Lyles is here from Vancouver, USA. It's a beautiful day in the Pacific Northwest and strawberry season. Yeah, ours, we have still a little early.
I think strawberry season's a little early for us, and I think it might be late this year because we've had a really cool spring.
Yeah. So
it was still pretty cool when we were away. I was checking the weather, so.
Yeah, it was not cool while we were in Japan, although it was not as hot as it could be.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
There wasn't any days where we had to wear a jacket.
No. We'll talk a little bit more about the weather in a minute. Colleen is here. Thank you, Colleen. And Sue Norfleet is here as well. And Kim is here from the East Coast. And Odd Pell, absolutely enjoyed watching your trip, and I hope you rested. No. No, go and talk about that in a minute. Yeah. But anyways, well, thank you everybody for your well wishes and saying how much you enjoyed the videos and that you are happy we are back now. Now we have the big job of getting back into the swing of things. And I have to say, I have lost my Sojo. Yeah, I don't know why, but I'm hoping it's going to come back real soon. Actually, I blame it all on John of Art East, because I came home to having to cut the third month pieces out, and I'm looking at them the last 2 days and going, I got to get on with this, but I hate the cutting, but I love the end result. I'm so mixed up. Oh my God. But whatever. But I'll get to it. But I'm blaming it on John. Yeah. It's all John's fault. Ivy is here. Were people generally thinner, smaller in Japan? Yes. Yes, they are.
Yeah, I sort of towered over them
yeah,
in the subway, so.
Yeah, I didn't really tower over them as much, but yes, they are thinner and shorter. That's for sure.
Yeah, I didn't see too many fat people there.
No, and if you did, they were sumo wrestlers. But yeah, no, they which is kind of funny because as we'll talk a little bit more about their food, their diet, I don't think those people eat a lot of salads.
I think not in restaurant,
No.
but in at home they do.
Yeah, maybe.
They eat more green stuff at home. In restaurants, it seems to be hard to find.
It was hard to
green
find a
stuff.
salad. It really was, because I was dying for a salad at one
Yeah.
point because I just needed some vegetables. Mariah is here. So yeah, so we're going to talk about all that. So just before we get to that, just some usual things here, like what am I working on? Nothing, and then some. Like I said, I haven't got my sojo back. I had somebody make a comment on one of our last videos for Japan saying you're probably anxious to get back to your projects, and I usually am, but for some reason on this trip I wasn't really missing that. I don't know why. Maybe because we were so busy doing other things and whatnot. And I kept thinking about all things we had to do when we got home that had nothing to do with sewing.
Yeah, like I've been trying to get gardening and stuff done. So.
So, and he's been out staining the deck, giving it a refresher coat, as well. And then of course there's the gardening. We got to get, and when I say we, Walter, get the container garden up and going and everything like that. And then there's things here. When I'm away, I tend to make lists about things I'm going to do when I get home. And my list becomes so long that when I do get home and look at the list, I get discouraged. You know, I love lists, but sometimes lists can be overwhelming too. So yeah, I think that's part of the problem. But the other problem is the jet lag. Pace has joined us, and Chris as well is here. But anyways, yeah, so we really haven't been working on anything that's sewing related, but we will be. So we'll get back into the swings with Sewing with Me on Wednesdays, that we start that up. You've had, 3 Wednesdays off in a row. And so we're back on, people. And anybody else who wants to join us, so the link's in the show notes. Pop-up Sew Day coming up this Saturday, June the 6th. We haven't had one of those for a while. So, yeah, that's coming up. And 8 o'clock start, and the link for that will be in the show notes as well. I think I put it in the show notes for this one today, but it's definitely in the show notes for tomorrow's vlog, Tuesday's Idiot Quilter vlog, and Friday So Chatty. So it's there. And for those of you that have come before to a pop-up Sew Day, the link from the last one is the same for this one, but it's there in the show notes for you. So as far as past week's videos were concerned, well, we didn't get back until late afternoon Tuesday, which was basically Wednesday on our timeline from Japan.
It would have been Wednesday morning, really early.
In Japan.
Yeah.
So that was the clock we were on, and that's what, has us all screwed up.
There was 13 hours difference between us and Japan, between here and Japan. So
yeah.
So it was kind of weird because when it was daytime, there was nighttime here. Steve said a couple of times while we were gone, oh, we should do a live. And at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I said, do you realize it's like 4 o'clock in the morning
here? So yeah, that's why we didn't do any lives. And we were going to bed relatively early, including Walter. I mean, there were some nights we went to bed at 9 o'clock.
Yeah, well, but we were up at 7 almost every day. So.
And we were going every day.
We were going, we were walking a lot. And I think one day we covered 20 kilometers.
Yeah, I think we averaged well over 10 to 12 kilometers a day.
Yeah.
In walking. So, yeah, we were tired, really tired out. Let's see, Marilyn is here, and Randy and Sue are here. And Rose Treasures is here as well. So yeah, so that's why we didn't do a live, because it just wasn't going to work in the timeline between there.
Yeah, I
and
said
here.
if you wanted to do it live, you have to do it at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, Pat's here. Hi, Pat. She loved the videos and loved the light shows. Yeah. Probably talking about bamboo. Not bamboo. Team Labs. Oh God, I've wanted to call it Bamboo Labs because that's the name of my printer so many times. And that, or what's the other thing I was calling it? Time Labs.
Time Labs.
Yeah, it's Team Labs. We'll talk more about that too in a minute. But anyways, yeah. So trying to get back into the swing of things we did So Chatty on Friday, and on Friday we decided to show you the fabrics that we had bought, and don't know what we're doing with them yet. And also we did a taste test from a vending machine at the airport, because Japan is famous for its number of vending machines. There's vending machines for everything in Japan, and we had some money left over on our Suica cards, which are what you use for the subway system there. It's kind of like here in Toronto area, we have the Presto card, and various cities in the world have like the Oyster card. Where's that? Is that London?
Oyster is
Australia.
London, I think.
And Australia had a card.
And Opal card is in Australia.
So, but you kept adding money to it as you needed it, which was very convenient, very easy, because it all went through Apple Pay for us. And so you could basically put whatever. Yeah.
The only problem is if you left Japan and it still had a balance on it, you really can't use it unless you go back to Japan.
Yeah, you can't cash in. So we decided to spend what we had left, which wasn't a lot, on a vending machine, and you got to see it on So Chatty as we tried the interesting things that were in there. And they do have interesting sweets. That actually, all the ones that we tried
were pretty good.
We didn't really like any of them. Didn't dislike any of them.
The only thing that we found that there were a few things that we didn't like was certain flavors of potato chips.
Yeah, the potato chips were weird, for sure. And we talked about that on So Chatty. So if you haven't seen that, you should tune into it. So we also showed what I said about the fabric we had bought. I'm going to talk more about that on Idiot Quilter this week too, and what I've got planned for it. Right now, nothing. So there's a spoiler alert. And if you missed our videos, I don't know why you did, I have put in the show notes below the playlist, because they're all in a separate playlist for you, and they're all in chronological order. They're dated, so you can watch them at your leisure if you're interested, and if you haven't seen them yet. Okay, I was going to talk about Meanwhile in Canada, but we're going to skip that today, because we have lots to say about Japan, and I think you'll find that more interesting than us bitching about what's going on here in our country. But before we do that, say hello to Joanna is here, and Melissa is here as well, and Grant, and Betty is here as well. So, yeah. So what are we going to talk with? Okay, let's start. Well, first of all, I'm going to show you something on here that Walter made. Oh, actually, I was going to show you. I'm going to back up a section. I forgot I did have this here. So just very quickly, we'll talk about this in more detail on Idiot Quilter on Tuesday. These are the Japanese fabrics I bought. These are real Japanese fabrics. They were made in Japan. They came like this, already pre-cut. They're 2-meter cuts, each of them. We didn't see a lot of fabric that we could not get here in North America.
Yeah, a lot of their quilting cotton and stuff like that was basically brand names like Moda and Northcott and
the usual K-Facet,
Riley Blake, all the other ones. We saw all the names that we're familiar with North America, and we did check out a couple of the prices on them, and actually the prices were actually pretty good on them.
Yeah, pretty good on it. And it was even better for us because for the first time any place we've ever traveled to, our dollar was stronger than the Japanese yen. Not by a great deal, but about basically if you took 15%
it wasn't really
off
stronger,
the price.
but it was a good exchange rate.
It was good. But if you took off from the yen 15%, you got our price
Yeah.
of it. So after conversion, the one with the cats on it is actually vinyl, and I think it's about a meter's length. And I just thought it was kind of fun. I'm not sure if that's actually made in Japan or not, but I saw it. I liked it. The price was pretty good for it. I think it was like worked out to about $14 for a meter of this. So I thought this might make an interesting bag or something in the future. And of course, Walter bought some stuff as well. He bought these two.
Yeah, the leaves. Actually, a lot of the stuff they had there, the patterns, I didn't really care for too much. I didn't really see anything that grabbed me that I wanted to make a shirt out of. And so I thought, well, I should have some of this fabric, and I got a couple of things that appealed to me.
Of course, it's a
I
little...
might make a shirt out of the tiger one. I'm not sure.
Yeah, the tiger one would make a nice shirt. Actually, the leaf one would too. But you said, but you didn't get 3 meters because you bought these.
No, I know, but 3 meters, I can squeeze one out for 2.2
Don't
yards. Might be able to squeeze one out, or even if I put a different color on.
Oh
or
yeah,
something like
yeah,
that.
you could do that. The box in the back of that is a box of sake. We bought 2 at the duty-free shop. One's going to be a gift, and the other one we just got for ourselves. But we talked about that on So Chatty on Friday. But Walter made something last night. Let me blow this up a little bit. Yes, it is bread. It is Japanese bread. Now, you're going to say, well, what makes it different? Well, we ate a lot of Japanese bread when we were there, especially in the morning. And there was
they had there was a coffee shop in the building that that our hotel was in, and it's a chain there called Komeda Coffee. And in Japan, Japanese don't eat a lot of breakfast, so but these coffee shops, if you purchased a coffee from them, which the coffees weren't particularly cheap.
No, that was the trick.
If you bought the coffee from them, then they would provide you with a what they call a slice of toast, which is actually a big piece of bread, and either their version of a jam, or egg salad, or an egg with it.
This bread has it's really soft, and it's got a really nice texture to it. And the way they serve it is, you see how this loaf Walter bought, this is an actual, from Japan.
It's actually a loaf pan made in Japan.
Yeah. He actually ordered one and found the recipe for this and made it yesterday. And we had a little bit of it for brekkie this morning, and it turned out pretty good. He's going to we went and got some more stuff today to try with it, because he has a theory on how to make it a little bit better. But it came out pretty close to what we were eating every morning, pretty much. And what they do is they cut it long ways.
Yeah, it's a very tall loaf. And actually, we ordered a sandwich one morning there in this little restaurant instead of the normal breakfast. And we each ordered a restaurant. Oh my God, we were sorry we ate that.
Oh yeah,
it was this tall loaf cut into 2 thick slices, and then it had a ton of cheese and a ton of meat between it.
And egg. They sort of was the triple.
Yeah.
Kind of a triple, not a triple decker sandwich, but like 3 different sandwiches all sort of combined in one.
It was cut into 3 sections.
It was good. But you might, for what they served usually with this bread, the gimmick was, if you bought a coffee, you got a choice from these 3 different things on the menu, which all had 2 slices of this bread, and it's thick, toasted.
1 slice. It was a half slice, actually. But it was really thick, right?
Yeah.
We ordered a second
right.
slice.
We ordered extra, actually, with it, because we liked it so much. But you could get it with a hard-boiled egg, or a little dish of egg salad. They love their egg salad there. We'll talk more about that in a bit too. Or red bean paste. Now, the name is kind of off-putting. We knew about this red bean paste, but we had never had it before we went our research on Japan. It's very popular there. Well, it's sweet. If you did not know it was red bean paste, you would think it was a form of strawberry jam.
Or a form of jam.
Yeah.
Like it didn't really have, It just had a more of a sugary taste.
Well, it was sweet. It was kind of fruity-ish
Yeah.
in the way it tasted, and it actually is quite good. Quite
Yeah,
liked it.
It was quite good.
We did not come home with a jar of it. We could have, but we decided not to. Now, there is a store close to us that has different foods from around the world. They have a section with Japanese foods, but we're not sure if the red paste they actually have in there is the same thing.
Well, actually, the reason I didn't buy the jar there because it wasn't really a jar. It was
Yeah, it was a soft container,
soft container,
and so
with a foil top to it. And I thought, okay, I can put that into my suitcase and it'll just squish up.
Yeah, it might not travel well. So we didn't bring it at home.
It may taste different here.
Yeah.
When we get it here.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I mean, it's one of those flavors that you when you're in the region that it is, then it's interesting.
Yeah. But anyways, the bread is fantastic, and Walter will continue to experiment further making it. Now, a few people came in, I think, while we were talking. Joanna is here. No, I think I said hello to Joanna. Did I say hi to Grant? I think I did. And Betty, I think I did. Art East says, John says, Matt is here too. It's his birthday Thursday. Happy birthday, Matt.
Happy birthday, Matt.
So what's that make you, 60? Just joking. Just joking. 60 was hard. Ask me how we know. Yeah. 70 is going to be harder. But anyways, so yeah, welcome. And did I miss anybody? Let's see. And as saying Pauline is here, or it was, I think I said hello to
Yeah,
Diana Corday is here. Lily is here. Hi guys, I'm a little bit late. Hope I didn't miss no good stuff. Laugh out loud. I'll have to go back and watch later. No, we haven't just got started really, Lily, into this, so you're okay.
Yeah, so the bread's really fluffy, but they serve you a half slice, and it's like this thick, like it's about 3 inches thick or whatever.
And they put butter on it. Just on its own, it's really good. You can eat a lot of that.
Yeah,
and we did.
And we did, yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, let's get back to the beginning of the trip, getting there. Okay. Well, it was fairly smooth sailing.
Yeah, our flight left pretty much on time.
Yeah, and the airport was basically, we used the kiosks to check in, and
well, I think it's funny because a lot of from Canada, a lot of international flights usually leave later in the afternoon.
Yeah,
the ones going to Europe anyway. And since we were going to Japan, I don't think they have as many leaving midday. So the airport was kind of empty when we were there. And we left our flight left at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And then it arrived. It left Sunday at 1 o'clock, and we arrived in Japan at 3:30 in the afternoon Japanese on Monday.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's a 13-hour flight.
Yeah. On the way there. Anyway.
Yeah. The plane was full.
Packed.
Yeah. But Walter had scouted out things, and so we were at the very back of the plane, the second row from the back, and it only had 2 seats instead of 3, like the rest. So, and it was close to the washroom. So that was good. The food was disgusting, as always. They had, well, by the time they got to us, because we're at the back of the plane, they had, they always have 2 choices. One was it beef or something?
Was it beef or chicken?
For chicken. And we ended up with the
beef
with soba noodles.
No, we didn't have it. The beef came with mashed potatoes and something else. The soba noodles was in that little square.
Oh,
dish.
the little square. Yeah. Ugh, they're gross.
Yeah.
I don't like.
And they were cold.
Yeah, they were cold, and they're just like eating worms. Ask me how I know. But yeah, they're just slimy. Don't like those at all. Not a good introduction to Japan food, Japanese food.
Of course, it's airline food.
Yeah. And of course, he slept.
I didn't sleep that well.
Well, no, but I tried. And I couldn't sleep. I think I watched 3 movies uh, on the way there and whatnot. Although I don't know if it's because I'm used to now because of Australia and everything, those kind of flights, those long things. The time went by relatively
Yeah, it wasn't
quickly,
too bad.
but we survived through that. No screaming kids. That was good. There were kids, but apparently they must have doped them up or something because they were not too bad. I didn't have to open a window and shove one out. Let's see. Inez says, I love their egg salad. Always went to a Japan restaurant when I lived in Toronto every other day and got to the point he would say egg salad when I went in. Yeah, their egg salad is really good. Walter loves egg salad. He makes it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And his egg salad's good too, but theirs is better. I don't, it might be how their mayo or something. Although we've got some Japanese mayonnaise, that Kewpie stuff.
Yeah.
We found that in one of the stores here. I know in the States you can get it, but
Actually, I bought it at No Frills.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Of course, we never ever looked for it before.
No.
Until this. But anyways, yeah, they love their egg salad. In fact, they love their eggs. They have eggs on everything.
Yeah, and you go to McDonald's and have an egg on your McDonald's as well.
Mm-hmm. And they'll put it on a salad if you can get a salad. Their version of it, they put an egg on everything.
Yeah, like we went into a curry place and you could get a curry with a pork cutlet. You could get beef curry, or you could get an omelet with curry.
Now their omelets. There was one place we went and we got this came as one of the sort of sides with the
that
meal.
Was on the plane. No, that was that. Yeah, it came as a side, but we
weren't sure what it was at first. We were looking at it
omelet.
Because when we say omelet, we have a different vision of an omelet. Theirs was more of a
dense.
It was denser. It was sort of a little slab.
Well, technically, I don't think that was an omelet. I think that was just.
We still don't know what it was.
An egg square. Yeah, I think the omelet that you got with the curry was more of a normal omelet.
Yeah. But, yeah, and Barb says the egg salad sandwich looked good at 7-Eleven. Oh, yes, they were.
Yeah, and the bread was like really
soft. And they don't put crusts on them. We ate a lot of things from 7-Eleven because the 7-Elevens there are not like the 7-Elevens over here in North America.
They're like pretty much all food, and they're all different kinds of food. You can even get stuff that you reheat, little dinners that you can reheat.
Yeah.
And all kinds of things.
They had hot things at the checkout counter. Meat on a stick. They had like a bunch of these pieces of chicken that looked like they were probably deep fried or whatever on a stick. They were hot. We got a couple of those.
You also got, no, we didn't get the ones on the stick. We got the patties.
Oh yeah, we got the patties.
They have these patties that look like hash brown patties, but they're actually chicken.
Yeah.
And you can get them they called it salted or spicy, but the salted sort of tasted like KFC.
It actually tasted like KFC.
And the spicy was a mild spice.
Yeah, it wasn't that hot, but they were juicy.
Yeah.
And they were actually very good.
Yeah, they weren't terribly greasy.
No.
And they were really good. And you could get like deep fried chicken. And they had these buns that you could get that looked like donuts, and they were warm. And they were called curry buns, and they're like filled donuts, but instead of sweet stuff inside, it's got curry inside.
Yeah, and actually
they were really good too.
And other things that you could get pancakes. You get 2 pancakes. They were cold in a package, but the 2 pancakes were stuck together. In between the 2 pancakes was maple syrup and butter in there, and that was holding it together. So you ate it like a cookie, kind of a thing.
Well, actually, I got it, and you rubbed the pancakes together, and it spread the stuff inside.
Those were good. They were nice and soft, and even though they were cold, they were still very tasty. We had those a couple of times. But one of the best sandwiches they have, and near the end of our trip, we couldn't get them anymore. They disappeared.
Oh, yeah.
Were the fruit sandwiches, which were the same white bread with the crust cut off. That was
actually some of them were pink, right? The bread was pink.
Some of the bread was pink. Yeah, but it was whipped cream, and slices of fruit like strawberries and peaches and mango or that kind of thing between them. They were absolutely delicious.
Yeah, and it was real whipped cream.
Yeah.
It was like not, it didn't taste like fake stuff. It was
No, it was
really good.
They were good. We called that the dessert sandwich. So there were a
Yeah.
couple of nights where our dinner consisted of, because we were exhausted, we didn't want to go out anywhere.
Yeah, they were, the dessert sandwiches tasted like strawberry shortcake if
Yeah.
they had strawberries in them.
So we'd have an egg salad sandwich and a fruit sandwich with it. They
We
had
didn't do that every day.
No, we
but-
didn't do that every day. But we had, and one other thing was they had a smoothie machine. So you bought a cup of frozen fruit and you took it to this machine and it read the label on the top of it, the barcode. And the machine would tell you, okay, after it read that, you opened up the door on it, you took this cup of fruit and it sat in a little
You
stand.
took the lid off.
You
yeah.
took the lid off, and then you shut the door, and it took
It
about
blended it.
it blended it for about 70 seconds or so, and with it, and again, you had this fruit smoothie. I had several of those. That was really good. I thought that's a great idea. They should have that here.
Yeah, and they also had, if you wanted a coffee, we did a couple of times. We went downstairs and just grabbed a coffee in the morning, and they'll give you an empty cup. You buy an empty cup, and then you take it to a machine and have a bin with coffee beans on top of the machine, and you brew your own coffee.
Yeah, and it made different types. It would do, we usually just had black coffee, but it could do a latte if you wanted a latte. It could do iced coffee if you wanted iced coffee from the same machine.
Yeah, we noticed a lot of the Japanese seem to be drinking iced coffee.
Yeah, they like their iced coffee with that.
You could also buy inside the 7-Eleven, you could buy cans of coffee
Yeah,
that were hot.
from a vending machine.
No, well, no, not, it was inside 7-Eleven. They had, it wasn't a vending machine. You could get it from a vending machine places.
Okay, yeah.
But you could go into 7-Eleven and
Yeah,
buy
you
one
could
of
buy-
those hot too.
Yeah,
We
we
didn't
didn't
try
try
one.
that, but yeah, you can get all kinds of things 7-Eleven. We said about the potato chips. Oh, ice cream. Now, okay, here in our countries, we have, I don't know if some of you are familiar with the term, we used to call them drumsticks. And they were those ice cream cones that are in the freezer section that are on a sort of a
Sugar cone.
sugar cone kind of a thing and that. Well, they had something similar, but they were better.
They were packaged carefully
Yeah,
so that they wouldn't get damaged.
and they were like soft serve.
Yeah.
But they were frozen, but they melted relatively quickly. They softened up with it. They came in about 3 different flavors. They had vanilla, they had chocolate vanilla swirl. I like that one in particular. That's one I got. And they had matcha. And Walter,
It was half vanilla and half matcha.
Walter's into that green shit.
Yeah.
I don't.
I liked it.
I
That was
don't
good.
hate it. I don't know. Well, it's the stuff they make green tea from, like matcha tea, which
Yeah,
is
it has a green tea flavor to it, I guess.
yeah. And I mean, it's a thing these days. You hear everybody talking about matcha this, matcha that, and all over the place. But besides the color looking pretty, yeah, it's not something that I really go out of my way to have. And they had chocolates with matcha. Matcha's in everything. They have matcha all over the place. But anyways, yeah, 7-Eleven was a good source, especially
Yeah, actually, they had 3 types of convenience stores. One was
Yeah.
7-Eleven. That's very popular, and they're all over the place. They're like, you can walk 2 blocks and hit another 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
And then there's another convenience store they called Lawson. And we didn't go into them that much,
No.
but they have similar stuff to 7-Eleven. And then they have another one called Family Mart. And the hotel we stayed in Osaka had a Family Mart pretty much close next door to the hotel. And we would go there fairly often, but they also had a 7-Eleven a couple of blocks away as
Yeah.
well. So
So there was no lack of, if that's kind of food you want. Now the reason we had more food there than we expected was we would have maybe a more major meal in around mid-afternoon, and then we'd still be out. And by the time we got back to the hotel, we were done. We
were
weren't
tired.
going out anywhere else for
Well,
food.
our party days are over.
Yeah,
so.
that's for sure. And so it was just easy to, and plus they sold beer.
And what else was interesting? We actually bought this at Family Mart a couple of times. Is these cream puffs?
Oh yeah, the
They
cream
come
puffs.
pre-packaged, and you could get them with just custard inside, or you could get them with custard and whipped cream.
Yeah,
And they were really good too.
yeah, those were good, and they had pastries, which were fine. They had croissant with au chocolat in them, and actually they were pretty tasty. I mean, we would not get that kind of stuff in a 7-Eleven, I don't think, here. I mean, I haven't been to a 7-Eleven in a long time, but, convenience store here, the place where they've got the hot dogs that have been rotating for a year.
Yeah, they didn't
thing.
have hot
that.
dogs. Well, yeah, actually, you could get a hot dog in a bun that you'd have to reheat.
Yeah, reheat. It was already sealed up.
You couldn't get you couldn't get like slushies there.
No,
The 7-Elevens don't.
that didn't break my heart because I don't drink slushies. But...
They they had a lot of interesting stuff. They also had beer and wine and hard liquor that you could buy.
And funny, when you go up to pay for it at the counter, if you had anything that was alcoholic, a thing would come up on their screen and you had to say yes to it that you were over 21. It was like every time, that's just how they checked it. So, you hit this button. Yeah, I'm over 21. Which made me think how they did that if kids actually go in there and who might not be 21 yet, whether they let them just push the button or
no, I don't think so. I think it's because we were old farts that they did that. If you're closer to the age where you might look young enough, they'd ask you for ID.
Yeah. Barb says she'd be hanging out at the 7 every night. Yeah, it was good. I highly recommend it.
Yes, it was good. We did lots of walking because we were eating a lot of stuff that we wouldn't necessarily eat.
Inez says it was a good thing you'd be waddling home. That's for sure. And Jen says, Walter, did you get where did you get your bet?
Well, I got it on Amazon. I looked it up. It's called the bread is called Shokupan. Shokupan. It's Shokupan bread. And so I did a search on the internet and I found a supplier in Canada. I can't remember the name of the place. And they have them to purchase, but they were $48 Canadian. Plus shipping would have been another $48. So $100 for a pan, right? The one I bought on Amazon, I think is exactly the same as this one this shop was selling. And I paid $34 with it, including shipping. So I just got it. I think I can't remember the brand, but it came packaged and it says made in Japan and everything's in Japanese. So
you had to season it.
Yeah, I had to season it, and because it's not non-stick, but you have to season it, and it has it had Japanese writing on the outside, so I had to use Google Translate to read it. So
yeah, we use Google Translate quite a bit when we were there. I mean,
a lot of the restaurants when we were over there had English menus that they would give you.
They would give you an English menu, and they figured out, you don't look Japanese. No, I don't. Thank you very much.
And some places we went, you had to order your food on a tablet, and then and submit your order that way, and then they would bring you the food to your table. And on the tablet, most the ones that we had anyway had an English button, so you could translate everything to English.
And a lot of the signs there and things would have English somewhere on them too, but usually in smaller print below. So sometimes it was just easier to put it through Google Translate to figure out what they're talking about on there. But we did not. Now, we saw on YouTube videos before we left that there were places where you would have a machine and you would pick what you wanted and you fed money into the machine or you'd use your credit card if they were capable of that, and it would spit you out a ticket, and when they called your order, whatever, they had a number on the ticket, you'd take that up. We never did that anywhere. In fact, we
because we didn't eat in the places that have the little cubicles that.
Oh no, that's right. Yeah, that's the thing over there.
There are a lot of places that are really tiny restaurants, and they're set up for individual dining. So they're like little cubicles that you sit in for one person, and you eat in a little cubicle, because in Japan the dining is not like the dining you have here so
It's
much.
not so much social as a function.
A function.
It's a function.
You go into a restaurant to eat.
Yeah.
It's like when we went in a restaurant, even the curry place we went to, we sat at a regular table across from each other, but you don't have, you go in there and you eat your food and leave.
Yeah.
There isn't any, like, sit around and talk.
No. And you feel self-conscious if you linger.
We had one place that we went in to look for a table, and they gave us a time limit. They said you have to be out of here in an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So,
which actually isn't too bad for us, because we would be. But yeah, they get you in, they get you out. And when they bring the food to your table, they don't bring everybody's at once. It's whatever is prepared first that comes out. So like in one place we were in,
like the curry place we were in last time, you ordered beef curry and I ordered the pork curry.
Yep.
And your beef curry came out first. Yeah. And then I had to wait for mine to come out.
And I mean, we weren't just waiting a couple of seconds; it was a couple of minutes. So they do.
It was maybe 5 or 10 minutes. I don't
think it was that long.
No.
But it was enough of a time where you sit there and you go waiting for the other person to get their food, because here in North America, when you go to a restaurant, you usually wait until everybody's got their food before you start to eat, kind of a thing. Guess that's not how it works there.
No, and that beer place we went into, the
one that where
you ordered the salad.
Yes.
You actually found a salad.
You
ordered salad, and I ordered a steak salad, but there wasn't that much salad with it. It came with
mostly meat.
Steak. And his salad came out first, and my steak salad came out after.
Yeah. So things in Japan are done in a very efficient way, which is great. Like when I say efficient, like the trains come exactly at the time they're supposed to be there and leave exactly at the time they're going to leave. Everything, the subways, everything like that.
We booked a bullet train at 10 o'clock in the morning, you could set your watch to it and watch. As soon as the 10 o'clock hit, your train was moving.
It was gone. Yeah.
And even there was one, the first bullet train we took was at 10:30 in the morning. And they didn't actually start letting passengers on the train until 3 minutes before it left.
So you get on. And
you have to be there to get onto it.
In fact, I admire their efficiency and things like that. But there are moments when it's too efficient. Like, for example, the eating. We're used to lingering, kind of a thing. We're both very fast eaters, too. To the point where certain restaurants we go to that, might be a little more pricey here in our own country, we will purposely plan it out so that we're not in and out in 20 minutes, kind of a thing. There, they would like you to be in and out in 20 minutes. With it. So yeah, now there are some restaurants though that seem to cater to people for possibly a group after work getting together, having some drinks or something like that. But they also have a lot of communal tables settings, like a big huge long table, and you may not know the people you're sitting next to. I don't like that. When we went to New York many years ago, there was a restaurant we went to, and that was exactly what the seating was like. And there were a few places a few years ago in Toronto and that were starting to do something like that too, because it was kind of trendy. I don't want to sit next to a stranger when I'm eating. Just call me crazy.
Even if tables are too close together, we don't like it.
No.
So.
Like I hate bench seating. Because that, how you get a long bench and the tables, and you've got about this much room between the table next to you. If I get seated in a restaurant someplace and they seat me at one of those tables, I will say no. I said no, and I'll look around to see if there's something that's more conducive to me, and say, is that one available? Or we have waited before here in North America, but over there, no. Space is at a premium. Especially when you're in like Tokyo, okay? Everything is very, very crammed together. And there are so many people, but we'll talk about that in a minute because I want to back up here to what I was going to talk about our accommodation after we got off the plane. And we took the subway from the train station.
I had scouted this out before we left, exactly how we were going to get from the airport to the hotel. And the hotel I picked was very close to a subway stop.
Yeah. I just saw here, Lily says, with all the walking you were doing, did you lose weight while you're in Japan? Well, can't you tell? I'm so swell.
I don't know. I haven't gotten on scale.
No, I haven't been on
don't
scale
think
either. I don't think I lost that much.
I think I may have gained a little bit.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I was just still my slender.
Well,
dog.
we weren't eating a lot. Like here, we eat a lot of salads and we eat
Yeah.
a lot of not as I don't eat very many carbs, and there was eating a lot of carbs. So
Yeah. Well, we weren't eating that many.
yes, we were.
Oh, you're just paranoid.
Big pieces of toast and
that wasn't
cream
carbs.
puffs and egg sandwiches.
Who are you calling a cream puff? Fruit sandwich. But anyways, yeah. So yeah, I don't think we lost any weight. I don't think we gained a lot.
No,
I don't
my
feel.
pants still fit.
Yeah,
so.
my pants still fit too. In fact, my pants might be just a little bit looser than when we went. Could be my imagination, but we weren't trying to lose weight.
No.
No. You're on. When I'm on a holiday, food is primary for me. I'll eat everything in sight. Almost. We're coming to the food. So, some more about food. But before we get ahead of ourselves here, let's go back to once we got on the subway. And I thought it was packed when we got from the airport. And of course, luckily, we pack light, as you know. We have our backpacks and our little crossbody bags, and our backpacks are not huge. So and that's a good thing because depending on the time of day, well, almost any time of the day there, the subways are packed.
Like there are very few times that we were able to get a seat in the subway.
Yeah. We took the subway a lot. Walter was really good at figuring out where we had to go and what trains we had to transfer. But if you're in Tokyo or Osaka, you can get anywhere on a subway. And they make it so easy. Like we went through, our Suica card was on our phones. We didn't even have to open up the phone.
Well, actually, I did research before we left, and if you type in your destination on Google Maps, it'll give you a way to get there on the subway, and it'll tell you which subway to take, what station, which platform the subway is going on, and you just do that, and it'll tell you which if you have to transfer to another train and everything else. And in Japan, all the subways are color coded, so you knew whether it was a red line or yellow line or whatever. All the lines had names as well. So if you couldn't remember the name, as long as you remember the color, and they also
And the
number all the subway stops. So if they have a big long Japanese name, you don't have to remember the Japanese name. You just have to remember which subway stop you're going off of.
Yeah.
So it actually worked out very well. It was very easy.
However, some of the stations could be a little confusing with their signage.
Yeah.
Because, of course, it's all in Japanese, but they would put in some of them, like, underneath more English to it. But they have these arrows. And sometimes, suddenly, okay, we needed to go to this exit or whatever, and the arrow's pointing, go straight ahead. We go straight ahead, and suddenly there weren't any signs anymore.
Yeah.
How far are we supposed to go? And it would be branching off. Are we supposed to go left, right, or whatever? That was really bad in the central train station in Tokyo and the one in Osaka. We got lost.
Well, we had a problem in Tokyo train station in that we went through the wrong exit.
Yeah.
We went on a tour to Mount Fuji. From Japan. We took an organized tour, and part of the organized tour was to return to Japan on the bullet train. Or Tokyo on the bullet train. And so we took that option and ended up in Tokyo Station, which is a huge train station.
Okay, stop there for a second. I don't know how to describe to you how big this place is, but it is a city underground. It has multiple levels and avenues coming out all over the place. And it's just, and there's shops and there's restaurants and there's millions literally of people.
Especially if you show up on Friday afternoon at rush hour.
My
Well, anyway,
God.
so when we got off the train, there were two turnstiles you could get through, which I didn't realize until after. One is if you're going out of the train station, you go through one set of turnstiles. If you were transferring to a subway line, you went through the other turnstiles, and we accidentally went through the turnstiles that we were transferring to a subway station. So we got caught behind the subway barriers and couldn't figure out how to get out.
Now, the Japanese are fairly friendly. This one lady came up to us. She could see that we were confused and didn't know how to get out, and she tried to help us. But her English was a little bit broken. She was pointing at her ticket and saying no, and I said, well, we tried and it wouldn't take it or whatever. It was hard to communicate. But finally, we figured out what she meant that we had to do. It was basically take the bullet train stub and feed it into the turnstile for the subway, and it would let us out. And so that's where we were panicking a bit at that point in time. But we figured that out, and that was fine. And then the next time we took the bullet train, we realized our mistake that we had done. So Faith is asking about tipping. There's no tipping in Japan. You don't tip anybody. You don't tip anybody. In fact, they'll give you back your tip if you don't. The only time we tipped, and I wasn't sure if I should do this, we had a private food tour kind of thing. Well, it wasn't supposed to be private, but we were the only two that were signed up for it on that day. And this lady that took us around, she was young, probably, I don't know. It's hard to tell how old Japanese people are. You know, like they age well. Anyways, I think she was youngish, like probably mid-20s, late 20s. Anyways, when she was done with the food tour, first of all, it's considered impolite to hand somebody in Japan money. In fact, when you're in a store, if you pay for cash, they have a little tray in front of the cash register. If you're paying for something with cash, you put your cash in that tray. They take it out of that tray. If there's any change coming back to you, they put it in the tray and you take it from the tray. You don't directly hand them the money. That's considered bad etiquette to do so. So if they did say on some of the videos we watched and what we read before we left, that tour guides, if you felt that, you wanted to tip them, you could. They weren't expecting it because they don't tip there, but you could do that. So she was really good. And there was only the two of us, kind of a deal. And so I had forgotten. I had brought some little envelopes with me from home in preparation for this, because they say if you're going to tip them, put the tip money in an envelope and present them with the envelope, not present them with cash. It's considered bad etiquette to do so. I forgot to bring the little envelopes with us when we went on the tour. So I said to her, I'm so sorry. We would like to give you a little, we would like to show our appreciation for what you did with us tonight. So I'm going to give this to you. I had it kind of folded up in my hand. She took it and thanked us for it. But, I felt a little awkward because it should have been in an envelope. But anyways. But in general, other stuff, there's no tipping. No. If you get a taxi or if you go to a restaurant, there's no tipping. So that's why if you pay for your meal, you just pay for your meal. You pay for your meal. Yeah. You don't tip. In fact, in many cases, what they do when it comes to paying for your meal, because Walter said, most of the places we went to, they would have a tablet and that was what the menu was on. You push the buttons for it and then you put in the order and then somebody would bring it out to your table. And at the same time, they would bring you your bill for it. And then you just took that up to the cash register and paid for it. I don't think we got a point of sale machine anywhere, did we? At a table. They had them, but they had them up at the cash register kind of a thing, which was another thing we weren't sure about, is how much cash would we need when we went there. We took cash with us, but because we had heard things on YouTube and that saying, well, they weren't completely cashless like we were used to when we went to the Netherlands or to Europe or to Britain or here in our own country, kind of a thing. So we took them out of cash with us, but most places, we could use
there was
card.
that one place though that we went near the end. We found a place that actually had a little patio that you could sit out on. And we had what they called Boston pizza. No, was it deep dish pizza?
Deep dish Chicago style pizza.
Yeah, which wasn't. It's very different, but it tasted okay.
It tasted good. Yeah.
And anyway, so when you went to pay, you found out it was cash only.
Yeah, which was fine. We had the cash.
Yeah.
With us because I think that was about 8,200 yen.
Yeah.
So, I mean, sounds like a lot. You're dealing with thousands of yen for things.
Yeah, that was about $75.
Was that what it came? Yeah, it was about $75 for what we had. Yeah. Well, that was the place where we ordered the beer.
We ordered a beer.
Walter ordered the most expensive beer.
They misunderstood me. I thought I was ordering draft, and it came out in a bottle. And that was a $15 beer.
Yeah. Most expensive beer we had on the whole trip. And this place was sort of in an area, well, you can see it on the video because we showed you. It was kind of a newer part down by the harbor in Tokyo. And this place was sort of a Belgian beer pub is the way it was. So they specialized in some Belgian beers. They didn't have that many different beers. So we
kind of picked the place because they had a patio and there wasn't a whole lot of people sitting out on it.
They do not have patios.
No, they don't.
Like we're used to North America at all. Well, again, that might go back to the fact that they don't linger over a meal kind of a thing. Now, they do go for drinks, though.
Yeah.
You would see, we saw that on the Friday nights especially. On that or the weekend.
But they usually had like stand-up tables and stuff like that.
That kind of thing. But the people in Tokyo anyways, they love to party. There's one place in Tokyo which is considered party town.
Shinjuku and Shibuya is the other one too.
And we were down there one night, and
it's also their red light district.
Yes, they have a huge red light district down there. That was one of the places where we went to a place for ice cream with the food tour person after we'd had the sushi and the Wagyu beef and that. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But it was really packed, and of course that one weekend too, there was a big festival that brings in literally millions of people. We stayed away from that area.
I wasn't aware of the festival before we left, but I had booked the tour. I had booked the trip because it was right after they had a big festival. There's at the end of April, there's 4 public holidays in a row, and a lot of people take the whole week off.
They call that what?
And they call it Golden Week. Yeah. And they say do not travel to Japan during Golden Week because it's really, really, really busy.
The thing about traveling to Japan, as a side here, is finding the optimum time to go. Because we didn't go when the cherry blossoms were coming out, because that brings in all kinds of tourists. Hotels are 3 times the cost in comparison to what they regularly are, and it brings in millions.
It's really, really busy. And if you want to see the cherry blossoms in certain parks, they charge admission to go into the parks to see the cherry blossoms. So I didn't really want to go when it was really packed.
No.
So, and they said in May, from what I've read, it's not as busy with tourists. And we found that, because when we were on the subway, there wasn't that many tourists on the subway. There was it was pretty much all Japanese people.
And the thing is, their rush hour, which we still have not figured out when that officially is.
It was between 7 and 9:30.
Yeah, but what I mean is, it didn't look any different.
Well, you knew you were in rush hour, especially in Osaka. We went to get on the train at about 9 o'clock, and that was the day where they were like pressed their faces were pressed up against the door.
Really, the subway would pull into the station, and they have barriers that with doors on them that automatically come across the half door kind of a thing to keep you away from the track. And there are lines everywhere. You stand in line, and people do not crowd around you. They do not push in front of you. It's considered extremely rude to butt in or to push in lines. You stand quietly in the line. You
And
queue
everybody
up.
did that. If you, the entrance to each subway car, there was markings on the floor that showed you where to stand when you were waiting to get onto the train. So the center section was to let the
You
people
don't stand
get
there.
off.
That's so people can get off,
Yeah.
and then you get on from the side of it. Like I said, they're very efficient with this. Well, this one subway car pulled in, and literally people's faces were pressed their nose against the glass of the door. And I said to Walter, let's wait for the next
And
one.
we watched somebody, the doors to open, and they would back into the subway, right?
Yep.
That was packed with people, and push their way, their back side, push their way into the car. And they would literally have their feet hanging out of the doorway, and then just as the doors closed, they would move
pull
their
the-
feet, pull their feet in enough that the doors could close.
And they had pushers.
Yeah.
We saw them. There was guys wearing white gloves, and if your ass was hanging out of that door when it's shutting, they pushed you in. Now, having said that, it was still, even though you were in there and you were packed in with a lot of people, they were still very polite. They would try to shuffle around as best they could to accommodate everybody that was getting on. But if you're someone like me who's a claustrophobic, it took me all my time not to kill 10 people and throw them on the tracks when I was in there, because I do not like that.
There were lots of times, and you'd see a train pull up, and there it's packed, right? And then all of a sudden they'd all come, a bunch of them would come flooding out,
and then you get on.
and then you'd get on, and more people would get on, and next thing you know, you're sandwiched.
You're
from
sandwiched.
A whole bunch of people.
You're not going to move. There you are. Well, one advantage to that was every time the train stopped or jerked around it, you weren't falling anywhere because you were held up by
And they
everybody
had
else.
lots of places for you to hang on to, overhead handles
things
to
and stuff like
hang
that.
on to stuff.
But generally speaking, actually, not generally speaking.
And the other thing we noticed was when you're walking on the street and the signal comes up that there's a no walk signal to cross the road.
Pedestrian crossing.
Pedestrian crossing. If there was a red signal, nobody crossed the road, even if there was no traffic coming.
Yep.
No one
Nobody
tried
jaywalked.
to jaywalk.
No.
And we noticed that right away because here
They would go.
They would walk.
Oh, here in
across the road.
Toronto, they don't obey any of the lights on the streets in Toronto. They'd walk whenever with it. But no, they wait.
They obey the signal.
Yeah, they obey the signals. And you saw probably the video that, when we went across that famous crossing, that is a scramble, Shibuya. Unfortunately, or fortunately, when we were there, there weren't that many people. There were people, but it didn't look as massive as you see it on other videos.
We booked, there's a, just above Shibuya crossing, there's an outlook or a observation deck on the 45th floor of one of the buildings that overlook the crossing. And I had booked to go up the observation deck. And when we were down up there, looking down, there wasn't that many people on the crossing that day.
Yeah, so you get a sense of it. Now, there's a couple of questions here that I want to get to before Walter carries on with his stories. Randy says, enjoyed the video on the day you were feeding the deer, especially when the deer were chasing after Walter for food. He said, yeah, that's a park area where the deer run pretty much wild. They're used to people, and you can buy these cookies for them.
It's a little place near Osaka called Nara.
And there's a couple of shrines there.
Yeah.
and everything. And these deer are all there. And if you saw the video, yes, the deer go cookie, and they're after you, and they let you know. They're not going to, they don't just politely take a cookie. They know you have more, and they're going to make sure you know that they're there, because I was getting bit in the rear end, and one bit me on my stomach, you know.
Yeah, one bit me when I was filming that. I had a pile of cookies in my backpack that I had shut the backpack, but of course they could smell them.
Oh yeah, they knew where they were cookies.
And so as I was filming Steve, this other deer came up there and bit me in the stomach.
Yeah. Yeah, and left a mark.
Yeah, I left.
Didn't
I had
break
a nice
skin
mark.
with that little mark.
It hurt.
Yeah, they'd heard the little things are nippy. So yeah, that's kind of a funny video. If you haven't seen that one, you might want to check it out. But also about the deer and whatnot. Here was something that the deer will do. If you walk up to the deer, not all of them, but many of them, they've gotten used to it. You go up to a deer and you bow. You go like this, and the deer will bow back. Because they know, but people go in there with those cookies, and if that deer wants a cookie, they have to bow back, and for it, and they do. We watched a lot of people walking up, little kids. In fact, some of the deer would walk up to you, and instead of grabbing you, like some of them did, they would bow first, meaning, okay, I'd like a cookie, please. Polite deer in there, you know, like that was kind of fun with them. So anyways, what we were talking about food and everything, I'm all out of order. I had notes. So let's go back to the accommodation, okay? So everything in Japan, as I said, is very efficient and a minimalist. So we knew our hotel room was not going to be huge, but that was okay. Well, the beds, we had 2 beds. They were pretty much pushed together and up against a wall.
Before we went, I researched the beds. You can buy, if you get a double room with 1 bed, there's no guarantee the bed would be very big. It may not accommodate regular people. So I always got a room with 2 single beds, so that we would have enough room. Well, the first hotel we stayed in, the single beds were actually quite wide.
Yeah.
And but they pushed both beds up against one wall. So,
and there was like minimal space in the room. Not that we needed a lot of space, but the bathroom is to die for.
Actually, the bathrooms were nice in that
the
place.
bathrooms were nice in there. Well, first of all, Japanese toilets. You heard me talk about this before. In fact, I think one of the first videos I put up was I showed you the bathroom in the Japanese toilet. I'm in love with the Japanese toilet. I want a Japanese toilet. You have never felt so, let's put it this way, fresh after using the bathroom as after you've used a Japanese toilet. Those suckers do everything. They powder your...
And it was nice that the seat was heated.
And the seat is heated, and you get this lovely little spritz that you just want to sit there all day. I mean, I love the Japanese toilet. And the shower, in that hotel we stayed in, was it was a room.
Separate from where the toilet and the sink were.
But there was a tub in there, a bathtub, and the shower. And the shower, like there was a floor, and it was a rainforest head on it. You know,
yeah, like it was outside of the bathtub, the floor. They had like a shower stall next to the bathtub, and then the bathtub was separate. So,
and it was big, and of course you could
have a party in there.
Yeah, you could preheat the water, like put it on a setting, so when you turned it on, within 2 seconds, you got exactly the temperature you wanted. But one of my subscribers, I don't think she's here, Layla, she said the reason it's set up like that is because Japanese people will take a shower before they get in the tub, because the tub basically is more for soaking, that kind of thing. So you use the shower to clean off, you know, whatever, and then you're not sitting in dirty bath water, which makes a lot of sense.
Well, that's what, they have those onsens, right?
Yeah.
Which are you can go to public baths, or you can go to special hotel there that has like a bathing area, like a little pool,
They're like a spa setting.
and you have to, if you go to a public pool or whatever, you have to take a shower before you go into one of these
Yeah,
onsen type baths.
with it. But anyways, yes, the Japanese toilet, highly recommend it. I was afraid the first time I used it, I wasn't sure if I was going to come out a woman, but I thought, oh, there are things happening underneath me that don't usually happen in a bathroom. But no, it was very, very nice. Very
Yeah,
pleasant.
and Japanese toilets were in public toilet places, and everywhere you went,
Yeah.
there was
a Japanese toilet. Yeah. So let's see. I'm just gonna Wild Rose says, did you see anyone who was using a walker? If so, were people helpful when they were getting on? Well, here's something about Japan. If you have difficulty walking, or you need assistance in the form of like a wheelchair or something like that, I think you might find at least Tokyo and the other big city we went to, Osaka. I think you might find it a little bit trying. The subway stations, for example, a lot of stairs.
Now, mind you, they did have elevators, but they were not necessarily inconvenient locations.
No, you had to. Now, one thing they show you on the train, they have digital screens, for each stop, and they will show you which car you're located in the train when you see that, and which way the train is going, which way it's pointing, and where the exits are. And if there's an elevator, they will show you which car of the subway is closest to that elevator. So I guess if you were someone who was used to that, you would know which car to get into. And they had sections in the cars, in some of the cars, that were designed for people who needed assistance or had a wheelchair. Now, we did see a couple. We didn't really see anybody get in on a subway with a wheelchair. We saw one
see
waiting.
a couple of people in wheelchairs, but
Yeah.
we weren't really in a subway car at the time when.
But they will assist them.
Yeah.
To get on the attendants out in the side, they will help them on. But generally speaking, we didn't see, it's not as accessible as things are here in North America, or at least in our country, in Canada.
Well, and there is often, like, if you have to do a transfer between one subway line and another subway line, there is often a lot of walking to get from one to the other.
Yeah. So, yeah, really not. And we didn't notice in restaurants that they were very accommodating for people in a wheelchair.
No, because there are some restaurants you had to go down a set of stairs or something like that.
Yeah. So, yeah, let's see. Susan says, many years ago, my husband designed a toilet for a Japanese train. Oh, so do you have a Japanese toilet in your place, Susan? Lee, let's just call her Lee. Have a pretty nice bidet in the US. It heats the water, has a fan to dry your bottom. I bought it after I returned from vacation in Japan. Yeah, well, that's basically a Japanese toilet. That's what they do too. Kind of a thing. So yeah. But anyways, yeah, first thing I tried out when we got the hotel was the Japanese toilet.
I mean, the hotel, it's what they called a business hotel. Like, it didn't have a pool or anything like that in it.
Well, that didn't matter. We wouldn't use it anyways.
It was good. And things they do, they give you amenities inside your hotel. Like, they give you free toothbrushes with toothpaste.
And they also had a section in when you checked in, if you needed any other kind of amenities like moisturizers, conditioners, shampoo, toothpaste and toothbrushes, Walter said, disposable razors, there was a whole eye masks, they
had, even one place had bathroom, like if you want to soak in the tub,
bath bombs or whatever, things that all free. You could just load up on those if you wanted them with that, or if you'd forgotten something. Very clean. All of Japan, everywhere, is clean. People do not throw garbage on the streets. Now, there aren't a lot. Trying to find a garbage can in Japan on the street is next to impossible. They don't have them. You are expected, if you take something, you unwrap it, you're expected to take that wrapper back with you to your home and dispose of it there. And very few spots. A couple of spots we might have seen a piece of paper blowing by or a cigarette butt.
Or was it like a receipt or something like that?
But or if now they have street food. If you eat street food, first of all, it's impolite to eat or drink on the actual streets as you're walking around. If you get something from a street vendor, you're expected to be right there in that vicinity where the street vendor is, eat it there, and you can give that street vendor your garbage if they put it in anything. They're very minimalist about what these foods will come into, and they have a garbage can. They'll throw it away for you.
Yeah, you never see anybody eating on the subway. You never see anybody walking and eating.
Nobody with a coffee in their hand.
Nobody with a coffee in your hand, except for 4 Americans that were.
Yes, you knew the Americans or the tourists that came from countries where that done. You knew who they were because they had a coffee in their hand. With it, but that's considered not good etiquette to do.
Could
that.
Have been Canadians too.
It could have been, but they opened their mouths and then we knew they were Americans. Were there any homeless people on the street? Well, actually, we saw
very few.
Very few. We did see a couple. When we were in when we went to see the giant crosswalk thing. And we were down at that place where, when we came out of the subway, Shibuya, there were a couple there.
However, apparently they do take care of their homeless, and they do have areas where they congregate or whatever.
But they, generally speaking, no, you're not going to see it like you'll see it in large North American cities. Ivy says, were there any home? Oh, that was it. Judy says, did people smoke in the streets or in restaurants?
Not that we really noticed.
No, they're not. There were signs you couldn't smoke. You couldn't smoke in our hotel. You could not, like here.
Well, actually, when I booked the room, I had to book a non-smoking room. They did have smoking rooms in the hotel.
There was 1 or 2 places I saw where they actually had a smoking room.
Yeah,
like a place in a restaurant. But
yeah, we saw areas on the street actually.
Yeah, it was on the street.
That there was a big room, and you could go smoke in that room.
Yeah,
and so
but but generally speaking, didn't see a lot of people smoking. There were some though. There were some. Going
to start a fund to get Stephen a Japanese toilet.
Yeah, please do, because they're expensive here. How do I know that? Already looked into it. We do have some.
The other problem is that you need you
have to have an outlet.
An outlet near where your toilet is.
Yeah. Anyways, in the hotel itself, about affordability, it's not bad. What did it cost us?
Well, the rooms that we had the Tokyo rooms were the most expensive. They were slightly under $300 a night.
Which, actually, if you go to Toronto, the average room in Toronto is probably over $400.
And our cheap room was in Osaka because that was under $200 a night.
Oh, was it?
And we were located right next door to the train station.
Yeah.
And there was and the subway station for the main line in Osaka was steps away from our hotel.
Yeah, it was very convenient for it. But also this part of the city is not bad or anything. It's just
somewhat industrial.
It's industrial. But it was close to our transportation hub where we needed to go. So
it was very convenient.
Yeah. Now, its bathroom, they had a Japanese toilet as well. It had a remote control.
But it didn't heat the water.
It didn't heat the water, no. Which was woo kind of a thing. But it had a remote control that you pulled out from the wall, and I had to play with all the buttons and see what it would do. And I did. But it was funny. It might have been this room had been retrofit.
Yeah, I think it was an older hotel, and it was actually a Four Seasons. No, what was it? It was a 4 Points Sheraton. But 4 Points Sheraton Flex is what it was called. And it was an older hotel, and we think that the rooms were retrofitted with a bathroom. because
There was a step
the
up, a
bathroom was a
major.
very large step up to get into the bathroom.
If you've ever been on a cruise ship, you know there's usually a bit of a step up. This was about twice the height of that. It was like, okay, you got to remember you got to step down when you come out of this bathroom, or you're going to be plant your face into the carpet.
And the beds were a bit smaller than the other place that we stayed in Tokyo, but the price was right, and
it was comfortable.
And we couldn't beat the location.
And it was very clean. So yeah, and the staff at all the hotels, or even the restaurants, everywhere you go, they're very friendly. They're very accommodating. So, you know, and polite. Language is really not a major barrier. Some speak better English than others, but we didn't have any problem really making ourselves understood or understanding what they were telling us in most cases. So we already talked about the subway system. Really, if you're going to go to Japan, you should really consider investigating the subway system before you go there and taking it, because and the train system across it gets you anywhere you want to go. And speaking of the train system, the bullet train, oh my God, is it fast. You may have seen it on one of the videos that Walter shot some stuff out of the window when we were on it. It goes over 200 miles per hour, and it just, well, we took it from Tokyo to Osaka. And if you'd done that by car, that would have been over a 5-hour trip.
It's over 6-hour trip.
Over 6 hours. It's 2.5 hours on the bullet train. And we did get first class tickets, which really, what you get with a first class ticket is, instead of 3 seats across, you know, an aisle, 3 seats here, 3 seats here, you get 2. And there might be a little wider, so maybe a little more comfortable. But we came by regular class when we went from
yeah, they have 3 classes. You can get non-reserved seats, you can get reserved seats, and you can get what they call green car, which is the premium seats.
Yeah. But what I was going to say was, when we went from, after that tour of Mount Fuji and that, and we took the bullet train back to Tokyo on that that was included in the price of our tour ticket, but they didn't include first class. We could have upgraded it to, but didn't. We went on plebe class. Plebe class was comfortable. We could have survived with it. But the advantage of, if you're somebody who packs a lot of luggage, first of all, there is no room on a bullet train for your luggage.
You have to get a special seat on the bullet train.
You have to book it.
They only have
and it's in first class.
4 seats that have room to store your luggage if you have a big luggage. Everything else is overhead storage, and it will only accommodate a carry-on bag.
So there are places you can go to that will ship your luggage to your destination, and it's supposed to be there pretty much when you get to the destination for a nominal fee, maybe about $20 or something like that. But like I said, everything's very minimalist and everything's very efficient. So you have that. We didn't have to worry. We had our backpacks.
Yeah.
And they fit very nicely up there, up on that top rack and everything. So that was good. But yeah, if you go to Japan, you really need to take public transportation around. And there were cars on the streets, but not a lot.
Yeah, a lot of the cars were taxis. And they had taxis, and even the Ubers, and there's a ride share called Go in Japan, and they have to have a special car, and they look like little black boxes.
Yeah.
That.
So Dubrovka says, you might laugh at this, we are remodeling our bathroom, and just last week ordered one of those fancy toilets. Thank you for positive view. I hope we like it too. Yes, you will love it. You will absolutely love it. Rachel says, you should have checked out the pod hotels. No. My nephew stayed in one, said about $20. Yeah, no, that's like being in a coffin. Sorry.
Steve's claustrophobic.
I'm claustrophobic. Would never enter my mind.
Not only that, you have to share a bathroom, which is not.
Yeah, no. Might be great for a student, but for a man who's moving towards 70, no, I will pay for my creature comforts.
It's like having a berth on a train or something like that.
Scott says in this day and age, your phone will have a translator app on it. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Yes, Scott, ours did, and we used it all the time. So yeah, it's
Where
really
did
great.
you get your laundry done in Japan? We didn't do any laundry.
In fact, we could have taken half the amount of clothes we took with us. Now you're going to go, you piggies. No. I wore 2 shirts in 2 weeks. And you're going to go, ew, it must have stood up on its own. No, actually it didn't. But then I'm not a stinky person. I took 2 pairs of jeans. I wore 1 pair of jeans on the flight there, and I took an extra pair of jeans. I put the second pair of jeans on the day we were coming home. Jeans are a godsend from it. We took a pair of shorts because we didn't know. Now in Japan, you don't see many people wearing shorts in the cities. Okay, it was warm. It was very warm. Only people wearing shorts and sandals are basically tourists that are there. They don't do that. Not in the city. Maybe out, in the burbs or whatever. Maybe they probably do, but not that. So yeah, we did have laundry facilities that we could have used. We didn't need to.
There's laundry facilities in both hotels that we stayed in.
I want to tell you about something that comes with the hotel rooms in some cases. A little spray bottle might be hanging up in your closet if you have a closet, or in that second hotel we were in, it didn't really have a closet, but it was on the hook. It is, let's say, it's sort of like Febreze. It is a clothing freshener, but unlike Febreze, it does not have the Febreze scent. You spritz your shirt with that, it smells really nice and fresh. Now, if you're a profuse sweater, well, no, you're going to need more. I am not. So it was fine. So yeah, you can ooh all you want, and I'm very, very conscious of, scents and stuff like that. And no, we did pretty well with that. So we could have taken less with us. We won't talk about underwear. Okay, we'll just leave that to your imagination. Let's see. Scott says Steven doesn't look a day over 68. You're funny, Scott. Not. Sarcastic little bastard. Okay. What else? We're moving out of our time here. There was some other things, though, that I wanted to bring up. I saw one question. We're going to answer that at the end. That was from Judy. She says, would you go back? We're saving that. We already talked about the trains, how efficient they are, always on time. We talked about suitcases, the staff being polite. Oh, yeah. When you're on a train, on the bullet train, when you first get on, an attendant comes around and gives you a sealed up, moist cloth.
Well, that was also, we were in the, did they do that in the other one?
No, I don't think so.
No.
That was only in first class.
Yeah.
But you get these everywhere. When you go to a restaurant too, most of the restaurants will present you with a wet cloth in a plastic towel so you can
wash your hands
and
before
stuff.
you eat.
They don't really have a lot of serviettes or napkins. And the ones they have, well, you can spit through what they're made out of.
Yeah, and
so,
same with the toilet paper.
Oh, yeah. That's a good thing for the Japanese toilet because their toilet paper is extremely sheer. Yeah, very sheer. Like poke your finger through that and go, oops. Kind of.
Yeah, actually, Tokyo gets, from what I read, it gets very hot in July and August and September.
Yeah. And the cost for taking public transportation, though, is like the subway, especially, very, very reasonable.
Most of our trips were worked out to about $2.10.
Yeah. So, yeah. And as I said, it was very easy to recharge your card right from your phone. You'd have to go to a machine or anything. You'd be on the road and go, oh, I've only got 1,000 yen left. I better top it up. A couple more thousand on it. Yeah. And you just do it right from your phone.
And our subway trip from the airport, which was Haneda Airport, to our hotel was under $5.
Yep. Now, if you could get a taxi with it, and the taxis have a system there called, we didn't use it, but we had the app for it called Go Taxi, I think, or something like that, which basically, and they have Ubers too and everything like that. So really getting around is not difficult and not that expensive. Now, sites, well, there's always tourist traps, and we showed you all the sites. We went up the Sky Tree in Tokyo, which is their tower, did that. Lots of temples, you'll be templed out, you know. Found that the people are very, I don't know if I should call it superstitious, but they have rituals. And a lot of the rituals surround good luck at these temples. So there's things you do, like you bow at the gate, you say
get
something,
these fortunes,
you get fortunes. If you don't like your fortune, you hang it on a thing and you get a new one, and this kind of stuff. There was lots of that. There's lots of shopping, and there's lots of high-end shopping too. Mm-hmm. There's one street in Tokyo which has Ginza. Yeah, well,
Ginza is the area that they have,
like, you know,
high-end shopping.
If you're the devil, you can get Prada.
For Scott, we did go to the fish market.
Oh, yes.
And it did not smell fishy.
No, it didn't. I mean, heads on and everything. Piles of prawns. But, yeah, it didn't smell fishy. Tokyo gets very humid around September. Yes, actually, July, August, September are bad months to go because the heat and humidity are humidity is like 90%.
And June and July are supposedly rainy season. So
yeah, and Scott says wet naps are awesome. Yeah, we always had wet naps with us too. Yeah, and that we never travel without a wet nap. So yeah, and so we saw that. We saw Mount Fuji, which I was surprised how close up to it that we got. And you saw that in the video too. I didn't think we would get that close, but we did without climbing it. Then there was the tours we took. You'll see that, the food, all that kind of stuff. We went to these team lab things, which are sort of an art installation. Now, the first one we went to was an experience. It was called Borderless, which meant that you could go on your own, but you're walking through the dark and there's light displays. And I captured a lot of that on the video, so you got a feel for that. And it was kind of cool. But when we came, that was in the first few days of our trip in Tokyo. When we came back to Tokyo on our last day or two, we went to another one. They had another one, the same company. This one, they told you there was water.
It was called Team Labs Planets.
Yeah. And I did not like it.
No, I didn't like it as much. And a lot of the displays were similar to what was in the first one. Yeah.
But they had a couple there that were kind of brutal. Like there were kids at this one was more set up, I think. They didn't advertise it as such. Or if they did, I didn't see the advertisement. Kids would love it. Kids would love it. People our age, you could break something. I mean, there was one room, they warned you when you went in, things will be uneven, and the lighting was not good on purpose. It was
like there was a room where you could walk over these mushy balls.
Yeah, and it was very easy to fall down.
They were like size of basketballs.
Yeah, so we decided not. Well, first of all, we were kind of in the lineup for it, and there was no escape. Because Walter says, I'm going to do it. And then we were watching people, and I says, are you really going to risk breaking a hip in Japan?
No.
So they showed us the escape route.
Yeah.
That one went, nope, not for us, kind of a thing. And then the water one, that was stupid. That was just plain stupid. It was a room with water that came up. They said it might come as high, depending on your height, as much as up to your knees. So we did not wear shorts for that, but we rolled up our pants. But you had to take off your shoes and your socks, and they had lockers. And you put your stuff in the locker and you locked it and you had a key for it and you wandered out there. Well, I lost Walter. You went down this long, dark corridor.
Yeah, I thought he was right behind me.
And he has a tendency of wandering away. That's why his mother used to put him on a leash when he was a child. And I should have done the same because you couldn't see. And I'm looking around. He's gone.
Yeah, well, I turned around and you weren't there, so...
And I
went back a little bit.
And I did too.
See you,
and I didn't see you. And I said, what am I going to do? And I thought, I can text him on my phone. Where the hell are you? Except I couldn't see my phone. It was so dark. And there's so many people coming through. So you couldn't really even stay in one spot. So I decided, okay, well, I'll go on. And there he is. I should have had a picture. He's standing in the water, looking at the entranceway into this. And there we saw each other. And I could have drowned him at that point. Don't do this. Take mommy's hand and let's go with this. But they had projected onto this water, and this water was extremely murky because it was filled with chlorine.
You could smell nothing but chlorine.
Yeah, it was like, which was probably a good thing in there. And they were they were constantly wiping down the floors and anywhere where there wasn't water, where you were walking through, like in the locker area and stuff like that, to get that. I found it very uncomfortable. I was afraid too of, what if you slip? It wasn't that slippery. They had something on the bottom for that. But if you were an older person and you had trouble walking, not good. And you can't find the exits for it. You walk. We kept going to the same thing again and again, couldn't find the exits because they're not clearly marked, and it's
you'll
most
end up in these rooms that are mirrored.
Oh God!
And
it's like a fun house.
Yeah, it's a fun house. And then you couldn't find the exit because some of the doors had a mirror on it.
Yeah, you'd be running into yourself. Wait, I know you. Kind of a deal. The first one we went to, as I said, the one that was called Borderless, that one I would recommend.
I wouldn't recommend the other one.
But the other one, no, not unless you're 5 years old.
Especially if you're adults.
Yeah. If you're over the age of 10, I don't recommend that one. So yeah, we saw a lot of interesting things and whatnot while we were there, and that's all on the video. Food wise, okay. Did we have sushi? Yes, we did. Would I have sushi again? No, I would not. Did I absolutely hate it? No. Did I absolutely love it? No. But I had sushi, and that was on the food tour. And there is an etiquette to eating sushi in Japan. And we had about 8 different pieces of sushi.
Yeah, we had 8 pieces of sushi. Then they also gave us some tempura. Shrimp. And they did give us this awful stuff in a cup.
Oh, I don't know what it was. But
it was this custard, and it looked like vanilla pudding, but it definitely did not taste like vanilla.
And it had little tiny baby clams.
And it had
that you shook out of the little shell and plunked them in there.
No, that was the miso soup.
Oh, was that the miso? Oh,
yeah.
Okay. I thought that was that other stuff.
But this one was it had the octopus in it.
That was the chunks.
But the custard tasted fishy.
Yeah, it was not good. Now when
I almost gagged on.
Yeah, I actually ate it. I ate everything.
He ate more than I did, and I can usually tolerate fish more than he can.
The first round of sushi was 3 pieces of sushi, and 2 were tuna, 1 was mackerel.
Yeah, and from what I've heard from other people, they say mackerel tends to be the most fishy, and they gave it as the first thing for us, and I didn't care for it. And then it
wasn't the first piece of sushi; it was the 3rd piece of sushi.
Okay.
The first piece of sushi was a tuna, and it was a very
no, it wasn't tuna. It was a silverfish.
That was the 2nd piece.
No, the tuna came in the 2nd course,
okay.
And there were 3 different tunas in there.
I said to the tour guide,
I should have listed what it was.
I said to the tour guide I said to her, okay, I understand from what I've watched, there is a certain order you should eat sushi. And she says yes, and she showed us how to eat it. I mean, the sushi was laid, these aren't in rolls, okay? In fact...
They're on vinegared rice.
Did we see sushi on rolls?
Yeah, you could get them.
I guess so.
Yeah, they're different kinds.
Yeah. Anyways, these were not on rolls.
They were called nigiri.
Yeah, they had the fish piece on top of this little bed of
vinegared
rice that was kind of compressed together in the shape of the piece of fillet that was of the fish that was on. And you pick the whole thing up with your chopsticks I'm not good with, and no, before you picked it up, you took the meat off, the fish off the sushi, off the rice. You dipped it once into the soy sauce they brought you. You did not double dip.
Well, actually, we mixed a little wasabi in with the soy sauce.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. First of all, there was a little dab of wasabi. Now, I've had wasabi before, and I kind of like wasabi, but I know it can be really hot, but that doesn't bother me. It's like eating horseradish. and I love a hot horseradish. But you took that and you put a little bit of it into your soy sauce and mixed that around with your chopsticks. Then you took the fish and you dipped it once, put it back on the rice, picked the whole thing up the rice, and you put the whole thing in your mouth. You did not bite down, nothing, because the rice would fall apart if you did that. And you just went in. And the first piece I had, I think I just let it slide down. It did. And actually I thought, well, this isn't too bad. It was kind of, I'd been told that good sushi would taste buttery, and it did. Kind of melted in your mouth. So I thought, okay, this isn't too bad. But as we worked through the different levels and we hit the mackerel and we hit the eel.
Oh no, one of the tunas was kind of fishy.
Yeah, one of the tunas got
skipjack or something.
Anyways, and then we had the tempura shrimp, and you don't know whether the head's on that still or not. The tail's hanging out. I was assuming the head came off, but I don't know. It's covered in tempura. You don't know what's staring at you. We had that, and we had little sake with it before. Now I've had sake before. It's okay. Whatever. So that was. So would I have it again? No. I'm not going out of my way to have sushi. No. Sorry, don't want it. Then the next place we went to, we had Wagyu beef, and you had a little, I don't know what they call them, I forget. I want to call it a hibachi, but it's a little grill on your table, and you kind of cook your own meat with that. And we had different types of Wagyu, slices of Wagyu beef. I don't know what the difference was. She explained it, meant nothing to me.
We had a little picture of where it came from.
Yeah, and that kind of stuff. And you did your own grilling. Now that was actually quite good. I never had Wagyu before, and it is very, very tender, but it's very, very fatty. Like it's marbled, like very marbled with it. That's why it's so tender. But that was good with it too. So, and I think we had a drink came with it. I had the fruity one, the cocktail.
Yeah.
But
a cocktail too.
We did try something not on the same tour on this one, but called octopus balls. First of all, I didn't know octopuses had balls, but whatever. We had those at a little what do they call them?
Izakaya or whatever.
Izakaya, which is kind of out in the street, a little bar area, and we had that in a beer. It was
a texture thing.
It was a texture thing more so than taste. It was sort of like a dough ball that had been deep fried, but it was raw in the middle.
Yeah.
Where the octopus lived, or whatever, the chunk of it. So
I didn't mind the taste of octopus, but
it didn't really have a lot of taste.
It sort of tasted like a weird shrimp. I don't know.
Yeah.
Kind of chewy.
Yeah, that was the weird thing we tried. We said already we had there's a chain there called Coco Curry, and we had Japanese curry there, which is, I like curries, but I usually have Indian curry. And Walter had tried to make Japanese curry here at home before we went. We went to that special store that has all this kind of stuff, and he got these cubes or something that mixed up. I didn't really like the texture of it, but Coco Curry's was better. But their curry is still a little, the curry sauce itself is a little thicker. And didn't hate it. Can't say I'll go out on my way to get that again. They love to do breaded pork.
Panko crusted pork. Actually, It's really crispy.
It's called what?
Tonkatsu.
Tonkatsu. And it's okay. They have a lot of pork dishes there.
Yeah, there's a lot of pork there.
What else did we have? We never got around to having ramen, but that's okay because I've had ramen here.
We had the
and I'm not that fond of ramen.
I forget what it's called. It's meat on a stick.
Yakitori.
Yakitori. Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah.
We went to a place when we were at that deer park place.
Yeah.
When we were walking through the town, Nara, we saw a place there, and you could order all these different ones. So we tried various ones. We tried chicken skin.
Yeah, they have weird ones. Like they had chicken on the skewer. That chicken skin, chicken gizzard, chicken liver, chicken backbone or something like this or something. Well, we didn't go for the really weird stuff, but we did get a chicken skin one. But
Yeah. But actually, the yakitori, I did like the yakitori. That was good. Well, what's there not like about meat on a stick that's barbecue, kind of a thing. But anything else we had? We had strawberries on a candied strawberries on a stick.
sure, like
street food.
candy apples.
Yeah,
Only.
they weren't all that wonderful.
No.
It was like, well, I'm not a fan of candy
And we
apples.
had the mochi.
Yeah, those I did not care for.
It's a rice flour paste, and then inside they put a filling, and then the one I had the bean curry in the center.
Yeah.
They were very sweet, and
Yeah.
they were kind of rubbery.
Yeah,
And I didn't really care for them.
again, that was a texture thing, and I think for me, many of the Japanese foods that I didn't hate but didn't really get excited about all had to do with texture. And I'm not usually that much hung up on texture of foods, but I was there a little bit more. We already talked about the red bean paste, pre-made pancakes, all that stuff in that. Yeah, we drank a lot of beer as well. Never had any Japanese wine. Didn't really feel like wine.
I think the only Japanese wine we had was sake.
Yeah, yeah. And is that wine?
Yeah, they
I guess
consider
they
it.
consider. Anyways, yeah. So the big question is, would we go back?
I wouldn't say that I wouldn't go back, but I won't run back.
No. I mean, on my list of places that I have been to before in the world, I don't put this one way up there.
I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it. We
But
had a good
the
time.
food experience, like we kind of like our, opportunities to sit out in a patio somewhere or something, and Japan doesn't have those very easy. They're not easy to find.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that I didn't really like about Japan, and it was too busy. Maybe if we went into the more rural areas of
To
Japan,
see like that.
but
kind of like,
I don't know. It's not something. I'm glad we went. I really
Yeah.
enjoyed it, but I would recommend somebody that's interested in going, especially if you like sushi.
yeah.
To go to Japan, but it's not something. Now that we've seen it, I'm not something that I'll
Yeah, I've seen it.
absolutely go.
Been there. Didn't hate it or anything like
No.
that. But, if you said to me, okay, you can go to Australia, you can go to all expense paid trip to Australia, London, or Japan. Well, I'm going to pick Australia because Australia is still my number one. And I would go to London next. If those were the only three choices, then I'd go to
I
Japan.
don't know. I'd go to the Netherlands more.
Well, yeah, but that wasn't one of your choices, was it? I said
No.
those three choices. So, yeah, there you go. Now, Rachel says you probably didn't notice was there vegetarian options.
There were some.
There were some.
But it usually ended up being pasta with something.
Yeah.
Or noodles with something.
And yeah, they will call things pasta, like to give it an Italian look. They had Italian style restaurants, but their pasta is not pasta. It's noodles of some sort. They have all kinds of different noodles. So yeah. Did they have a lot of chicken or beef? They had chicken, they had beef.
They had chicken, they had beef. You could get beef that was other than Wagyu.
Yeah.
But usually it was like thinly sliced beef on something or whatever. You had that beef curry in one place. They do tend to have a lot of pork.
They have hamburgers, but this seemed to be very popular and very trendy in the restaurants. You could get like a hamburger, but not a hamburger.
It would like be a Salisbury steak.
Yeah, like a Salisbury steak, and it have some sort of a sauce on it. Did we try it?
We tried it at that
it.
one place that was not very good.
Yeah, it wasn't.
And it wasn't probably a good place to have it.
No.
So, no, we did not try natto.
What's natto?
Actually, I didn't even see natto, and it's supposed to be gross. It's beans. They stick together like they're like when you're making Rice Krispie squares.
Yeah.
and they all string together. They're
Oh.
fermented beans, and they're supposed to smell like sweaty feet.
Ew. Ew. Well, maybe something you'd have at the end of your trip if you hadn't used any laundromat.
But we didn't see it anywhere, so
No.
I mean, didn't really try it.
Yeah.
So
Scott says maybe another quilting trip.
I doubt it. We don't tend to go on trips that have to do with quilting.
Oh God, kill me now. Trapped in a bus
With a bunch of old ladies.
with a bunch of old ladies. God, no. Sorry. I hope no one took offense
Maybe
to
a
that.
gay quilting trip.
Yeah, well, maybe. Oh, that would be a scream and a half. Rachel says Kit Kats and sake, it would be then. Yeah, the Kit Kats, we did come home, if you saw So Chatty, with a couple of flavors. I don't eat Kit Kats here at home. I don't hate them or anything, but they do have unusual flavors for that, which is kind of fun. I like the banana ones. Have you been to the Scandinavian countries? Yes, we
Yeah.
have. We've been to Norway, Sweden, Finland, and then
Denmark.
Denmark. Yeah. Yep, we have been. We haven't been in many years though, and I was sort of
Yeah.
thinking, it might be nice
Maybe
to go.
nice to go back.
Yeah, we did those as a cruise.
Yeah, it was a cruise. So
Couple-
you only had a couple of days. The only
Yeah.
place that we went for a few days was Copenhagen. So
Yeah. So yeah, that might be another type of trip.
yeah, it might be an idea.
With that.
Copenhagen was nice.
Yeah. So as far as a return visit right off the bat to Japan, probably not. But that's not because we hated it. Now, there were a few comments people made to me. They thought I was being very negative about stuff. Didn't want to come across as being negative, but I was telling you the truth. You know that I've always said on this, no matter what the topic is, we will not blow smoke up your ass. We watched a lot of YouTube videos about Japan, and the people that were doing those reviews were basically blowing smoke up your ass. They make it sound like it is an absolute paradise and that kind of thing. It is very nice,
It's very clean. There's nowhere we were that
No.
I felt unsafe.
but everybody has their preferences and their tastes, and I'm telling you what we liked and what we didn't.
I liked the safety factor.
Yes, you felt very safe.
And I felt very comfortable when we were there.
Yeah. And we've been to Switzerland too, Rachel, as well. We've never been to South America, Scott, and I have no desire to go.
Neither one of us have a big
No.
desire to go.
Scott says many of the expats in Latin America are happy and gay. Well, that's good for them. They should be. But anyways, so that was our trip. I don't know where we're going next, but it won't be for a while. We have things we need to put our money towards around the house, like installing Japanese toilets and a smoothie machine. But whatever. So, well, we went really long today, but there was lots to tell you. So anyways, that was the trip. Thank you for those of you that kind of came along with us through the videos that we put out and listened to us all today about it. And if you ever go to Japan, I hope you enjoy it as well. It is an experience for sure. Someplace different. So anyways, everybody, thanks for joining us today. Check next week. Regular videos will be up. Oh, Steven. So Monday Morning Coffee with Steven this week will be live. Usually I do that the last Monday of every month, but I wasn't here for the last Monday in May. So I just moved this one for this month only. There might be 2 lives in June, because this one's going to be on tomorrow on Monday, and maybe the last Monday of June. I'll put it again if I want to keep with that schedule. So yeah, so I hope you can join us. Links in the show notes for that. And it's already up. It's upcoming on the channel as well. So you can just click on that link. 8 o'clock Eastern time. Sorry for those of you that like to sleep in. And oh yes, and speaking of sleeping in, we are still suffering from jet lag. I think we're getting over it, but I still having trouble sleeping, to the point where today we made a little visit to the cannabis store, and I got some CBD to try to help me sleep. And plus I have some little...
What time is your live at?
The live tomorrow is at 8 a.m. Eastern. It starts, and it'll run about 2 hours. So you can come and go as you please, like it's alive. And it will be rebroadcast just like this is after the fact too. Okay, that's enough about everything today. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week on all the other videos. So take care, everybody. Have a good evening. We'll see you later. Say goodbye, Walter.
Goodbye.